We put his sister back in her cage, but her smile told me we'd failed. We got them all. We got the thing they called Pig. We got the console, the collars, the whole sick fucking operation. We also took a server rack full of digital files that, while not what we call active, made my guts twist in a way that feeling my own ribs knit themselves back together never could. Package is secure, I breathed into the comms, my voice rough. All of it. We're ready for pickup. Copy, came the reply. Clean, sterile. A voice from another world. Transport is en route. Keep the primary asset with you. Do not let him out of your sight. As the last steel cage was loaded onto the flatbed, the kid from the house next door stumbled out onto his lawn. He'd been watching from his window the whole time. He took 3 frantic steps toward us before I put up a hand, stopping him dead. "That's your sister, isn't it?" I asked. My voice was softer than I intended. "Zora. She's still in there. We think. Since it hasn't been long, there might be a chance." He just stared at me, his face a mask of disbelief and hollowed out hope. It was a look I knew too well. I gave him a lie, a small kindness in this whole mess. We've seen this before. We know what to do. I wanted him to feel like he'd done something, anything other than watch his world fall apart. "You're the one who called it in, right? Talked to our guy at the local PD? None of this would have happened without you. I'm sorry he was an asshole, but this stuff can't exactly go on the record." The words felt stupid and clumsy hanging in the air. I started to turn away, but a movement caught my eye. Zora. In her cage on the truck. She was staring right at him. A slow, predatory grin stretched her lips, pulling them back from her teeth. Her fingers were laced through the bars of her cage, and the steel was deforming around them, twisting like hot taffy. I spun back around, my heart hammering against my ribs. I fumbled in my pocket for the card. "If you see her again," I said, trying to keep my voice steady, and we are not standing right next to her, "you lock your door. You do not let her in. Do you understand me?" The fear must have been written all over my face. I pressed the small black rectangle into his hand. "Keep this on you. Always. If she comes for you, she can't touch you as long as you're holding this." He just nodded, a puppet with its strings cut. I walked away, and he shuffled back into his house, a ghost in his own home. "You not gonna, you know," Jago gestured with his stave, mimicking the flash of a memory wipe. "Zap the civvy?" "No. He's better to us like this," I said, my eyes still on the house. I gave him a ward. The way she was looking at him, if she gets out, she's coming right back here. "We need the early warning. We all saw it," Corbin said, his voice low. He made the right call. We fell into formation, 4 of us, 10 meters out from each corner of the condemned house. We set our staves to full power, a low hum filling the air, making my teeth vibrate. I gave the signal, zeroing. Stellan, a resident encyclopedia of the fucked up, had explained it once. He said it wasn't an implosion. He said the resonance field we created would reach a critical density for a fraction of a second, unmaking any matter caught inside. It turned brick and wood and memories into raw potential, which our shields then harmlessly diffused. A neat, quiet little apocalypse. The house didn't explode. It didn't burn. It just stopped being there. One moment, it was a dark shape against the pre-dawn sky. The next, there was nothing but a perfectly square patch of bare earth. No light, no sound, just gone. We walked the perimeter afterward, staves on the lowest setting, coaxing new grass from the soil. It came up too fast, too green, unnatural. By the time the first bird started singing, you'd never know a house had ever stood there. The rest was up to the number crunchers, the paper pushers who had convinced the world the property lines were redrawn and records were lost in a minor fire. We never got a debrief. Zora was put in an isolation cell deep in the facility. They were scheduled to begin what they called de-escalation on Tuesday, but by the afternoon, her cell was empty. "Breach," Stellan's voice crackled over the comms, flat and devoid of any emotion. "Asset is unsecured. Tracker is dead. It's the witness's sister." Corbin swore. "The witness." "Reese," I said, already moving. "She's going back to Reese. We killed the van's engine in the same spot on the quiet suburban street. No cops this time, no audience, no sign of Reese's car, and worse, no sign of Zora. Stellan slammed a heavy metallic sphere onto the grass and flicked a switch. A low hum started, a sensor grid expanding outwards, unseen. We kept our personal shields down, a stupid, desperate hope that she'd come for us instead of the boy. Signature, Stellan said, pointing north. Kilometer out, and closing. Fucking fast. How fast? I started to ask, but the question died in my throat. She was already there. No sound, no warning. 1 second the roof was empty. The next she was perched on the peak of Reese's house, silhouetted against the bruised evening sky. She crawled down the siding like a spider and stopped at the second-floor window. Up, I grunted, and we moved. Stellan stayed with the sphere. The rest of us went through the front door, taking the stairs 2 at a time. We were halfway up when a sound tore through the house. It was a shriek of pure sonic rage mixed with the crystalline explosion of shattering glass. The bedroom was a whirlwind of glittering dust and glass shards. In the corner, Reese lay crumpled, out cold. The black card was clutched in his hand, his knuckles stark white. His chest rose and fell. He was alive, smart kid. The light bulb had blown. In the empty window frame, Zora's face hovered just beyond the edge. Her smile was wide, impossibly wide. Her eyes were patient, malicious. Zora, Orville said, his voice calm, measured. It's okay, we're here. Her head tilted, a jerky, bird-like motion. The smile faltered, replaced by a look of grotesque curiosity, as if she was trying to understand a language she'd long forgotten. Jago moved to the far side of the room, his shield shimmering into existence, cutting off her path to Reese. I moved forward, raising my stave. I thumbed the nullifier to a low setting. A pocket of absolute silence formed around me. Zora's hand, resting on the windowsill, twitched. She reached a finger toward the edge of my silent bubble and recoiled as if burned, a hiss escaping her lips. Ari, Stellan's voice was a whisper in my earpiece. The sphere can pin her, but you have to get her inside the room, all the way inside. Another 3 feet, any less, and we just piss her off. Zora, I said. Her eyes snapped to me. We're taking you home. You just have to come inside. Her gaze flicked from my face to the stave in my hand, to the card in Reese's fist. The grin returned, wider this time, trembling with some awful glee. He told me not to. The voice wasn't hers. It was a chorus of broken things, a grinding of stone and splintering bone, all speaking at once. The broken glass on the floor vibrated with each word, chiming like 1,000 tiny discordant bells. Then she moved. A blur of impossible speed. But we were ready. The moment her feet touched the floorboards, Stellan slammed the sphere to full power. A wave of pressure hit the room. Zora screamed, a raw, piercing sound, and then she was on the floor, clawing at the wood. Her nails, long and cracked, splintered and broke as the thing inside her thrashed against the invisible cage we'd sprung. Now, I yelled. Corbin was on her in a second, snapping a polished steel restraint around one wrist. Orville tackled her legs, fighting to get the ankle cuffs on. Zora's scream changed. It went from pain to pure weapon. It wasn't a sound anymore. It was a physical force that hit me like a wall, trying to claw its way inside my skull. Corbin and Orville just dropped, their bodies going limp as if their strings had been cut. But they'd done their job. The cuffs were on. She was bound. The scream died, tapering off into a ragged breath. Zora blinked once, twice. The manic grin was gone. In its place was a look of such pure, cold hatred it felt like it was dropping the temperature of the room. Stellan came pounding up the stairs. Get Corbin and Orville. That scream, they weren't shielded. I helped him drag them to their feet. They were dazed, a thin line of blood trickling from each of their ears, but they were conscious. Jago and I hauled Zora to her feet. We carried her down the stairs like a condemned prisoner, her eyes burning holes in the back of my head the entire time. Outside, Stellan shut down the sphere. The oppressive hum vanished. The restraints she wore kept the entity locked inside her, unable to warp the world around it, unable to escape. We shoved her into the cage in the back of the van and slammed the doors. We left Reese in his bed. Orville checked him over, said he was stable. I don't know what he'll remember. I hope to God he wasn't awake to see us drag his sister away for the second time. Standing at the curb, Orville put a hand on my shoulder. You did good, Ari. That was a bad one. He held it together. Corbin was staring up at the sky. I followed his gaze. The clouds on the horizon were a deep, bruised purple, shot through with spears of dying sunlight. It's beautiful, isn't it? I said, the words feeling hollow. Almost makes you think heaven's right up there, just behind the clouds, he murmured, reaching up as if to pinch one between his fingers. If there is a heaven, Jago joked, his voice still a little shaky, that quack Kruger would have already tried to weaponize it for being anomalously sublimes. If there is a heaven, Orville added, a weak smile on his face, I bet Elliot's already got every last angel cataloged and cross-referenced. I can hear you, you know, Elliot's voice crackled over our comms from the van. We all shared a tired laugh. But there is a heaven, Stellan said. His voice was quiet, serious as a heart attack. It's in Sweden. My brother works there. He's an engineer. We all turned and looked at him. The joking died on our lips. We were hoping it was some kind of bone-dry Scandinavian humor. His face told us it wasn't. Night has fallen. The crisp autumn air bites at my face through the open window of the van. Jago is driving. The whole right side of my torso is still a numb, tingling mess from the abattoir incident. Stellan says the feeling will come back in a week or so. I believe him. I have to. There's a low hum growing in the air now, a thrum I can feel in my teeth. The trees and fields blurring past in the headlights are starting to look familiar. We must be getting close to Blackwood Reach.